Little Red Riding Hood. Have you ever met a stranger in the woods? Little Red Riding Hood did. And that day became a lesson she would never forget. One bright morning, Little Red Riding Hood stood inside her cozy home. She wore her favorite red cape and held a basket filled with bread, fruit, and warm cakes. Her mother smiled and said, "Please take this basket to your grandmother. She is feeling weak today." Little Red Riding Hood nodded happily. "I will be careful, Mother." Before she left, her mother gave her one important warning. Stay on the forest path and do not talk to strangers. Little Red Riding Hood promised to obey. Soon, she was walking through the beautiful forest. The sun shined through the tall trees. Birds sang sweet songs. Colorful flowers covered the ground. Everything felt peaceful, but hidden behind the bushes was a hungry wolf. The wolf watched the little girl very carefully. He stepped onto the path and greeted her with a friendly smile. "Good morning," said the wolf. "Good morning," replied Little Red Riding Hood. "Where are you going today?" he asked. "I am visiting my grandmother," she answered. "She lives in a cottage deep in the forest." The wolf's eyes sparkled. He suddenly had a clever plan. "What a lovely day," he said. "Your grandmother would love some fresh flowers. Why not pick a few for her?" Little Red Riding Hood thought it was a wonderful idea. She thanked the wolf and began gathering flowers. As soon as she looked away, the wolf ran through the forest as fast as he could. He reached grandmother's cottage long before the little girl. "Knock, knock. Who is there?" asked grandmother. "It is Little Red Riding Hood," the wolf answered in a soft voice. Grandmother opened the door. The wolf rushed inside and hid her safely in another room. Then he put on her nightcap and climbed into her bed. A short time later, Little Red Riding Hood arrived at the cottage. She knocked gently. "Come in, my dear," called the wolf. His voice sounded strange. Still, Little Red Riding Hood entered the room. The cottage felt quiet. She walked closer to the bed. "Grandmother," she said, "what big eyes you have. The better to see you with, my dear. What big ears you have. The better to hear you with, my dear." Little Red Riding Hood took another step forward. "What big teeth you have." The wolf grinned. "The better to eat your cakes with, my dear." At that moment, Little Red Riding Hood knew something was wrong. "That is not my grandmother." The wolf jumped from the bed. The little girl stepped back in fear. Just then, a woodsman walking nearby heard the noise coming from the cottage. He rushed inside. The brave woodsman stood between the wolf and the little girl. The wolf growled, but when he saw the strong woodsman, he became frightened. The wolf quickly ran out the door and disappeared into the forest. He never returned. The woodsman helped Little Red Riding Hood find her grandmother. Soon they opened the hidden room. Grandmother was safe and smiling. Little Red Riding Hood felt relieved. She hugged her grandmother tightly. That evening, they shared the food from the basket. They laughed together and thanked the brave woodsman for helping them. As the sun slowly set outside, Little Red Riding Hood remembered her mother's advice. She learned that strangers are not always what they seem, and she learned that listening to good advice can keep us safe. From that day on, she was wiser, kinder, and much more careful. And so, Little Red Riding Hood, her grandmother, and their new friend, the woodsman, lived happily and safely. The end. What can we learn? Little Red Riding Hood learned an important lesson. She learned to listen to her mother and be careful around strangers. She also learned that good advice can help keep us safe. Being kind is wonderful, but we should always be smart and careful too. Thank you for walking through this story with me. If you'd like more quiet fairy tales like this, feel free to like and subscribe. The forest will be waiting for our next story.